Thank you so much for joining me today at Everyday Yoga. Today we are continuing our chakra practices. Today's practice is all about the throat chakra, also known as the Vishuddha chakra. It's a little bit of a stretch to relate this one to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but at this level, Maslow's hierarchy is all about knowledge, cognitive functions, curiosity, and the throat chakra is all about communication. So I think curiosity can be part of communication because you are looking for knowledge, and often that is in the form of being taught or taking a class. And when you are doing something like that, you're listening, and that is connected to the energetic throat chakra. It's a two-way communication system. I love the affirmation, I communicate with integrity here, because that can encompass listening respectfully, communicating openly, communicating and being your authentic self. What does that mean, your authentic self? I love Brené Brown's definition. Her definition is, I don't puff up, I don't shrink down, but I stand my sacred ground. So not shrinking yourself, not making yourself small, not keeping your mouth shut and communicating what's going on in your life. But then again, not being all proud and judgmental and telling people you know everything, but just knowing what is true for you and standing there and being honorable to that belief, if that makes any sense. Go look it up on Brené Brown's website. I highly recommend everything and anything she puts out there. It has been really informative and uplifting in my life. So another thing that is about the throat chakra is when we tend to be truth tellers, or maybe stretch the truth, or even lie or exaggerate about things. Being your authentic self means being willing to be vulnerable. And again, that's a Brené Brown teaching as well. Sometimes we make mistakes, and especially when we're younger, it is really hard to admit that we've made a mistake, and we might try to hide the fact that we've made a mistake, or make it look like it was someone else's fault or the fault of technology or whatever. But it's really empowering to own our mistakes, because then we can really and truly learn from them. So I encourage you to do this throat chakra practice with me. If you want to understand more why it is important to me, check out my chair throat chakra video. I explain a little bit more why it's so personal to me and why I wanted so much to share it with you. So let's go ahead and find a comfortable seat on our mats and get started. So finding a comfortable seat on your mat, I love to use a cushion or a rolled up towel or blanket, or sit on a block. You can sit on a block cross-legged, or you can sit on a block in hero's pose, being kneeling on your knees and coming to bring your sit bones over your heels. You can take the block in its flat position or lowest position, or you can turn it up so it's in the medium or a little higher position. I don't recommend the highest position unless you have a really skinny butt. So let's go ahead and come to whatever seat suits you best. I really like sitting on a block in its lowest wide position, drawing one heel in and then stacking the second heel kind of in front of and atop the first. This allows my sit bones to be even on the block or cushion. It allows my knees to come all the way down to the mat. I can kind of snuggle my feet in towards one another, and And I feel really grounded in this space. So find a place where you feel grounded, where you can sit nice and tall, lifting the heart, drawing those shoulder blades down the back, tucking the chin gently to keep that neck long. And we're going to do some movements here with the shoulders and the neck and incorporate some self-massage as well. So first and foremost, let's become present in this moment by noticing the breath. There are a lot of ways that we can do that, but today let's really see if we can't focus on the neck. And one of the most basic breathing techniques in yoga is called Ujjayi breath. And this is kind of that oceanic breath that you have right in the back of the throat. You might notice that you're making this sound unintentionally at night when you're sleeping and the mouth kind of drops open a little bit and it's kind of almost like a little bit of a snore. Or you might notice that you're sort of making that noise when you're imitating Darth Vader. I find that it's easiest for me to tap into it if I pretend like my nostrils are these little bones, these little knobs at the ends of the collarbones right beneath the throat. So if you can imagine that you're inhaling and exhaling from these little bones here, it sort of makes that same Ujjayi breath down in the throat. So let's give it a try here. You might close the eyes a little bit so that your imagination is more inward. If that doesn't feel good though, just take a soft gaze. And we'll relax the shoulders down, and then we'll pretend we're inhaling through the knobs of the collarbones with the mouth closed, inhaling actually through the nose. And I'm kind of exaggerating a little bit. I hope you're picking it up on the microphone. But it can be very, very soft, but it helps to take you inward. A couple more times, just focusing on the breath. And see if you can't come back to that Ujjayi breath throughout our practice today to really anchor you, not just with the breath in the present moment, but specifically right here in the throat center. So let's lift those shoulder blades up towards the ears and then just really actively draw them down the back and draw the shoulders down as you lift the crown and tuck the chin, really making a lot of space here in the neck. And let's do a little bit of self-massage here. You can take the pads of your fingers or the heel of your hand and just kind of gently begin on one side, moving around the entire neck as far as you can really reach, maybe starting with the right fingers over on the left side and gradually moving your way around the back of the neck towards the right. And you might find that massaging the base of the skull where it meets the neck is really wonderful. Or maybe down towards the bottom of the neck where it meets the shoulder might be really great for you. Using the pad of the hand, the heel of the hand, you can really get in there and maybe even get towards the front of the throat a little bit. Normally, if you were getting massage, they would stay away from the throat area, but this is something that you can do yourself. And these little muscles right here, these little tendons in the neck are called scalenes. And these are really involved in breathing. So if these are tight, you might find that you have a hard time drawing a deep breath. So just finding a little release here. Okay, I call them tendons and muscles, but they are scalenes, and if you're really concerned about what they are, you can look it up. And we'll just kind of reach around towards the front and get kind of underneath the jaw a little bit here, and then we'll switch sides. Using the opposite hand on the opposite side of the neck to start, and then moving the hand around, maybe doing some squeezing motions. Just noticing all the things we have going on in the neck here. There's all kinds of little bones in the back of the neck. Be very gentle there. Different tendons, little glands, all kinds of stuff going on there. And again, using either the fingertips or maybe the heel of the hand. And then maybe even using the hand in the front of the throat, using the thumb on one side and the index and middle finger on the other side to get right up underneath the jaw, very gently alongside the esophagus. You might find that you're a lot more tender there than you think you might be. We do a lot of movement with our necks, and they don't get a ton of love, so feel free to massage wherever feels good to you. I like to also come into the jaw area. The throat chakra is, like I said, linked up to the ears and listening, so it's also connected to the jaw. And if you find that you clench or grind your teeth a lot, or literally or figuratively bite your tongue, that you might have a lot of tension and tender spots here in the jaw as well. When you've had enough there, and feel free to pause the video and massage as long as you like, go ahead and release the hands, and we'll just take the gaze up towards the sky very gently without crunching the back of the neck. And then take the chin towards the heart, getting a big stretch in the back of the neck and the upper shoulders. Looking up towards the sky, and then again down towards the earth. And then maybe the next time we inhale and look up, we can draw the arms alongside the ears and look up towards the hands. And as we exhale, we can let the fingertips come down towards the earth, reaching towards the mat, getting a really nice big stretch in the top of the shoulders and the back of the neck. Reaching up, looking up as you inhale. Exhaling to reach down and look down. And one more time in each direction. Maybe coming back to that Ujjayi breath. And then let's go ahead and remove whatever prop you might be sitting on. And we'll come to all fours. Let's get a little cat-cow in. This is wonderful for the flexion and the health of the spine. I like to curl my toes under and gently bend the elbows as I drop the belly and lift the heart, lift the gaze on an inhale. And then turn the tops of the feet to the earth, pressing into the mat with the fingers, drawing the belly up towards the spine and the chin to the chest as you exhale. And we'll just do this a few times, moving with your breath, maybe involving that Ujjayi breath again, imagining that you're inhaling through the tips of the collarbones. And then coming back to a nice long neutral spine in your strong tabletop. We can do these kind of barrel rolls with the spine here. So imagine your spine is sort of a jump rope. And we'll press into cat and then round down into cow. You can keep the tops of the feet on the earth just so that you can focus more on the spine. But you're kind of moving in one direction, and we'll switch it up so it doesn't matter which way you go. Just like a jump rope. You might notice some snap, crackle, pops out there as gas releases from the joints. As long as it's not painful, that's definitely okay. And then we'll switch directions to balance everything out. Focusing on the throat area. Maybe using that Ujjayi breath here. And then we'll press back up into cat and draw all the way back to child's pose. Nice long extended child's pose, stretching through the armpits and the ribs and the upper arms and the triceps. And then we'll inhale back to tabletop and draw the right knee forward, coming into your low lunge. So the right knee is stacked over the right ankle. You can either keep your legs in this nice squared off position here, or you can reach down to the mat with your fingertips or your palms. As you can see, my arms are not long enough to really reach to bring my palms to the mat. So I like to use blocks here. And you can sort of curl your back toes under and kind of take the back knee back a little farther to open up through the left hip. You can keep those toes curled under if that feels good to you, or you can bring the top of the foot to the mat. And we're just gonna breathe here. Again, finding that nice long spine with the chin tucked and the heart lifted and the shoulder blades drawn toward the back. Excuse me, I had a cat hair on the lip there. And we'll just breathe here. There is some research out there, not a whole lot, but some research that shows that the hips are kind of connected to the jaw. For instance, if you find that you have a bad toothache or something like that, you might have a lot of hip pain, or if you have some hip pain, you might find that you're clenching your jaw a lot. So releasing the hips here can actually help with the throat chakra as well. And we'll inhale here one more time. Stay for the exhale. And then as you inhale, take the arms forward and up, reaching up towards the sky, adjusting the back knees so that it's nice and comfortable. I'm drawing mine in a little bit closer. And then maybe draw those elbows down towards the earth, really opening up the chest, lifting the heart, tucking that chin, and bringing the focus back to the throat and that Ujjayi breath, if that feels good to you. Inhaling here to lift the heart and tuck the chin. Exhaling here to draw the elbows towards the earth and back down towards one another. Couple breaths here. This is kind of a balance pose, so you might want to keep your eyes open and find a focal point that's stationary that you can focus on to help with the balance. And then we'll inhale the arms back up to the sky and bring them down back to the mat. Bringing the right knee back in line with the hips. And maybe taking another cat-cow or two, just to realign the spine, realign the hips. And then we'll come back to a neutral spine and a strong table before we bring the left leg forward. And again, you can stay in this nice stacked, squared off lunge, or you can Step the knee back just a little bit to get more of an opening in the front of the right hip. Drawing that heart forward and the shoulder blades down the back, tucking the chin and breathing. Focusing on the throat area as you breathe, maybe incorporating that Ujjayi breath. And then maybe bringing that knee a little farther forward before we bring the arms forward and up on an inhale and down into this kind of goalpost or cactus arms as we exhale. And staying here, opening up through the heart, tucking the chin, bringing the focus to the throat chakra area. The color, this light sky blue color, is also connected to the throat chakra, as is the element of ether. Not air necessarily, but just that next level up. And then we'll draw the arms back up to the sky. Come on back down to frame the front foot. Come back into your tabletop. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And then we'll go ahead and drop the elbows where the palms are. Stretch the legs out behind us. Take a full breath in this forearm plank here, strengthening in the shoulders. And then bringing the belly down to the earth, flipping the tops of the feet down to the mat. And we'll do a couple locust poses, which open up the front of the body and are a little gentle back bend as well. And both of those will keep the spine healthy. So to come down to locust, we'll draw the arms alongside the body. And locust is in several variations. So we can begin by inhaling just to lift the head and the shoulders, drawing the shoulder blades down the back, and then exhale the forehead back to the earth. We can inhale just to lift the arms up, and then exhale back down to the earth. We can inhale lifting the legs up, and then exhale back to the earth. We can inhale head, shoulders, arms. Exhale back to the earth. We can inhale head, shoulders, legs. Exhale back to the earth. And we can inhale head, shoulders, arms, legs. And whatever variation of locust pose feels good to you, go ahead and find that and take 3 full breaths here. Bringing the attention back to the throat, maybe using that oceanic Ujjayi breath. Noticing how as you inhale, your kind of internal organs here are getting a little bit of a massage against the mat. And after you find your 3 full breaths here, you can bring everything back down to the earth. Turn your head to the left and rest your left temple down. And just notice how that feels in your body. You might need to come back to the breath, reestablish that connection. But you might notice a different energy flowing. And then we'll do that one more time, yogi's choice, whatever variation of locust feels good to you, bringing the forehead back to center and inhaling in whatever variation for 3 more breaths. Drawing those shoulder blades down the back, maybe pointing the toes or pressing the heels of the feet, kind of like high-heeled shoe feet. Pointing the toes can sometimes cause cramps in the calves there. So if that's the case for you, press into the balls of the feet instead. Lift the arms, getting a nice, gentle, supported back bend here. And as you find your 3 breaths, exhale and turn to look over to the left, bringing the right temple down to the earth. Finding balance in all things, even in our resting poses. And then let's bring the forehead back to the earth. Bring the palms right alongside the chest area here. We're going to take the palms off the mat, just off the edges of the mat, and we're going to press up into kind of a low cobra, but we're going to press into the right hand, drawing the body over to the left, getting a nice big shoulder stretch in the front of the left shoulder, and getting a stretch maybe underneath the armpit here on the right. And then come back to center and stretch the opposite direction. You might want to adjust the hands a little bit so that you're getting the best possible stretch for you. And we'll just kind of flow a little bit from side to side. Maybe getting the neck involved. And once you've found an even amount on both sides, go ahead and stack the hands one on top of the other and bring the forehead to the back of the top hand. And we'll just rest here, letting everything settle in. Finding that Ujjayi breath. Repeating your affirmation either out loud or to yourself. I communicate with integrity. I communicate with integrity. I communicate with integrity. Two more full breaths here. And then let's release, bringing the palms alongside the chest, pressing up through tabletop, drawing the knees forward, coming into hero's pose. I'm just turning so I can face you. Bringing the block behind you if that feels good to get a little bit of height here. And this is where we're going to close out our practice, and I always like to inhale the arms out wide and up alongside the ears, drawing in all of that wonderful positive energy down here to our throats, to our mouths. May the words you speak be true and honest and peaceful. May the words you hear be knowledgeable and with integrity. Thank you for joining me today. The light and the love that is within me honors the light and love in you. Namaste.